YouTube. What's going on? It's Adrian Jordan Adrian, and I did say we was gonna get started of doing this book here, Deliver Me from Evil. Now, from what I glanced and like roamed through this book here, is about between 3 to almost 5, 6 pages per chapter, but most of them is very little. So, I mean, it shouldn't take us this long or that long to even go through that, knowing that I'm seeing what I'm seeing. But I am going to go ahead and start this book here. If you haven't catch my last one of the introduction of the back of the book here, I'm about to read this now. Once upon a time, Christine Thurman had a perfect marriage, a girl from the wrong side of the tracks. She made good by marrying Jesse Ray Thurman and helping him build a business worth billions. They were attractive, successful, and deeply in love. But 12 years later, JR becomes obsessed with building his video store empire and is taking his wife for granted. Feeling trapped and alone in a dead end marriage, Christine found herself tempted by her old haunts and the people she thought she left behind. Okay, that makes y'all. So we about to get into it. Besides like the acknowledgement when they think. Also, when I read and like scanned through the acknowledgement, it's been, you know, more. Okay, let me salute to my haters first. All the ones who had against me, and then it's like the one who supported me. I'm saving the best for last. Like, so we'll go ahead and skip that a little bit. But here's chapter 1. Now, look, I can see this. It's cool. All right. A crude tattoo on his right bicep told the world that his name was Wade. I recognized prison artwork when I saw it, but didn't look like a thug, at least not like any other ones I knew. There were no grills of tacky looking gold teeth decorating his mouth like stale corn. There was no thick gold chain wrapped around his neck like a noose. With his neatly trimmed jet black hair, smoky gray eyes, sharp, handsome features, and a thin t-shirt and tight jeans hugging his well-developed body. He looked like a low-income of Lenny Kravitz. Between sips from his can of Coors Light, he puffed on a thick blunt, a strong head swirl around his head like a halo. It was some pretty good shit, too. I welcomed the immediate buzz I got from inhaling the secondhand smoke. I haven't smelled weed this strong and sweet since I was a teenager, more than 10 years ago. But within seconds, the halo around his head turned into a dark cloud and was moving in my direction. I swallowed a huge lump that was threatening to block my throat. Then I held my breath as he dialed the number to the video store that my husband owned and managed. Hello? Yes? Wade said in a loud, gruff voice. As soon as he got a response on the other end, he sounded like he had a huge lump in his throat, too. He coughed and cleared his throat, altering his voice this time. I need to speak to Jesse Ray Thurman. He talked with the blunt dangling from the corner of his lips. Put him on the phone. Put him on the phone now, he ordered, a grimace on his face. Dude, I ain't playing. He even sounded like Lenny Kravitz. The telephone sitting in the lap of the wobbly bamboo chair was so cheap looking it resembled a child's toys. The Walmart bag that he had removed from him lay on the floor with the sales receipts like peeking out like a white tongue. But the cheap telephone had the speaker feature. So I hear my husband's response on the other end of the line from where I stood, a few feet away from Wade. I do have a tongue twister. See, I gotta work with me. You reach video drama located on Alcatraz near downtown Berkeley. My husband answered, sounding as cheerful and phony as a used car salesman. Please hold. Wade's mouth dropped, open wide. The blunt fell to the floor, scorching the fade of the carpet. He immediately ground it out by stumping it with the heels of his run over well worn shoes, which he had probably kicked from the Payless or Goodwill. It must have been hell for such a handsome man to be so broke in this day and age. I wonder where he got in the money to buy weed. This motherfucker put me on hold. He hollered, looking at me with with an incredulous look on his face. What kind of dumbass motherfucker are you married to? He yelled, shaking the beer can at me like it was a weapon. He doesn't know I've been kidnapped. I whimpered. My eyes were itching, and the inside of my nostrils felt like they were on fire. I held my breath again. I could barely feel my lips when I spoke again. Give him time. He'll be with you in a minute. Give him time. Fuck this shit. You better be right. I ain't got all day. They got another line I can call at that damn place. They they have two lines. But if you call the other one, you'll just get put on hold again. I managed my words, rolling out my mouth like rocks. Please give him time, I begged. The inside of my mouth was so dry it felt like my tongue had stuck to the roof. I closed my eyes and prayed that the man who was about to demand a $500,000 ransom for my release was not going to run out of patience. I knew from experience that the caller to my husband's business could be put on hold for 1 minute or much longer and left listening to the instrumental version of Strangers in the Night. That was why I had needed to call him up at work. I usually call him on his cellular phone. This is video drama, my husband said after he seemed like an attorney. We are located. Shut the fuck up. Where he wore, cutting my husband off mid-sentence. Excuse me? Jesse Ray said, still sound cheerful and phony. I need to speak to Jesse Ray Thurman right now. Wade glared at me in such an extreme sneer, and the look on his face had been turned inside out. He looked raw and more menacing than ever. Now he did look like some of the thugs I knew. There was a pause before Jesse Ray responded. A pause that was long enough to make my blood pressure feel like it was about to go through the roof. Speaking, how can I help you today? Jesse Ray continued, almost singing his words. We are here to fill all of your video needs. We got everything from the earliest to the latest Hollywood's hits to I said shut the fuck up, I got a gun and I know how to use it. My husband let out a gasp that was so loud it made me jump. What did you say? You long ear motherfucker, I know you ain't deaf. I know damn well you heard what I said. But in case you didn't, I won't say it again. I got a gun and I know how to use it. I didn't see a gun yet, and I hope I wouldn't. The hollow silence that followed for a few moments was almost unbearable. It seemed like every sound in the world had come to the end. My body had begun to let me down. It felt like spiders was crawling over every inch of my flesh. There was a muffled hiss. Jesse Ray cleared his throat before he responded. Who was who's in this world? Who in the world is this? His voice was almost as hollow as his silence. I just endured. Wade leaned his head to the side and sucked in a deep, loud breath, then spoke like he was reading a script. Listen and listen good, motherfucker. You don't say another goddamn word until I finish. Now this is the score. You got your wife. He paused, winked at me, and then he lowered his voice. I just wish she wasn't so damn pretty. It's hard to keep my eyes off a woman with such a nice, juicy, petite body, such big brown eyes, cinnamon brown skin, and a head full of thick black hair falling across her shoulders. She looks like a film star. He signed and moaned, sounded like the same absent caller who had called me up one night a few years ago. But I didn't think it was so damn pretty. But I was attractive. The rest of the description was quite accurate. The situation was more about my husband's money than my looks. But it didn't matter. I was still nervous and frightened about how it was going to turn out. Wade increased the volume of the speaker. Now I could hear Jesse Ray breathing on the other end of the line. My husband was a healthy man, but by the way he was wheezing and coughing and clearing his throat now, you would have thought he was struggling to stay alive. And I guess, in a way, that was probably true. He worshipped the ground I walked on, and once I told and once told me that if I die before him, he didn't know how he'll be able to go on living. There was another pause before Jessie Ray responded. You need to tell me who this is, and you need to tell me now. He said in an impatient and an amused tone of voice. You'll find out soon. You'll find out soon enough. And just like I said, we got your wife, and it's a fine piece of tail she is. If you want her back with pussy in one piece, you'll do anything. You'll do everything I tell you to do. Now, first thing is you don't call no cops. You don't tell nobody else about this. If you do, I'll know about it, and you can forget about ever seeing your sweet little woman of yours again. Any questions? Jessie Ray let out an impatient sigh. Then he laughed. He crackled long and loud like a hyena. My mouth dropped open and I stared at the telephone. My life was at stake and my husband was laughing. Man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Didn't you hear what I said? I heard you, Jessie Ray saying, still laughing. You think I'm playing? You think this is funny? Hell yeah, this is funny, Jessie Ray said, mumbling profanities under his breath. But I got work to do, so you have to call me back at a better time. I sat there in a slack jaw amazement. I could not believe what I just heard. Harvey, I know this is you. I've heard you use the same voice when you do your lame ass impression. I must say you are beginning to sound more and more like the Godfather, so keep practicing. My husband said in a stern voice. Don't practice on me, I'm a busy man. Shit. Look, I'm not playing with you. Damn you two, Ham. The room got so quiet, I could hear the water dripping in the sink of the bathroom across the hall. Are you still there, motherfucker? Wade shouted, kicking over the chair. Yes, I'm still here. I told you I wasn't playing with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not playing with you either, Harvey. You are my only brother and I love you. But you are one sick-ass puppy and you need some serious help. I begged you for years to get some therapy and you didn't. Now look at what you are up to. Now let me get off this phone so I can get back to work. Wade and I looked at each other. At the same time, my mouth was hanging open, wider than his. My husband had just hung up. That is amount of first chapter here, baby. That was first chapter. We're going to go up to chapter 2. And we're going to do chapter 2, chapter 3. Maybe, yeah, we'll do 2 more chapters. I'm going to take a pause real quick, but I will be back here. So therefore, this is chapter 1. I will be doing chapter 2, 3, and maybe 4 when I get back. Still tuned. Stay tuned for Deliver Me from Evil. Adrian Jordan. Jordan Adrian.